Welcome back. Hi, I'm Jim.
And hello. I'm Sydney.
We're going to take you through the next episode in the series based on how to build the best website. This episode is part 2 of how to pick your domain name, which deals with the importance and fundamentals of the subject, and continues where part 1 left off.
If you haven't seen part 1 on this thread, watch it. You'll find it helpful.
We are Web Info Pros. Here's a question for you. Should keywords be in the domain name? To refresh your memory, a keyword is a word or phrase used to describe the content or info sought on the internet. It's also commonly referred to as a search term. At one time, it was critical to use keywords in your domain name to get search engines and visitors to find you. That is no longer the case, according to Google.
An example of keywords used in a domain name would be resumehelper.com. Although keywords do help visitors find the topics and the sites that have the info that the visitors are looking for. However, they are no longer as instrumental in getting websites higher rankings with the more popular and influential search engines. Today, the keyword's primary function is to direct web surfers to information they're seeking.
Though you should continue to use keywords in the headings, page titles, and the body of the text. That's because they define what your content is and help your audience find you. But be careful not to overload the text with keywords. This practice can get you downgraded by Google and the others.
Search engines like Google don't want an individual web page to have more than 3% of the text in keywords. Using too many keywords makes the site look like is loaded with terms meant purposely to pump up search ranking and not to be informational.
That is the problem with algorithms. They don't think like humans and can't grasp the contextual nature of the content. So spread your keywords wisely throughout your web pages. That also applies to their use in titles, headings, and subheadings.
Another method to build local credibility is to use region-specific domain extensions, like .uk for the United Kingdom, .jp for Japan, and .fr for France.
And no, .it does not stand for Internet Technology, but for Italy. There are some restrictions for the use of these types of extensions, so be aware before applying them, such as .nyc, which requires a valid New York City address to reserve it with the domain registrar. But if you want to concentrate on a regional market, this is a possible way to accomplish that.
Here are some simple guidelines for domain naming, which you should try to keep in mind when composing your domain. They will help you to remain focused on the essentials of basic, but effective domain creation.
First, be as short as possible. Again, try to keep the number of characters in the domain name before the dot, no more than 14. Second, it should tell what you are. That means, what is the purpose of the website, and what is it that the visitor should expect and encounter on the site? And finally, make sure that it is easy to remember. If the domain name is too clever or esoteric, you're failing the whole point of making it easy to remember. If there's a problem with the availability of a preferred domain, or if you need help with coming up with domain names, there are free domain name generators on the internet that can be useful in giving you some direction. We've provided some links to a few of these domain generators in the Show More section below.
While doing your research, we also suggest that you make sure that there are no negative connotations or overtones with your choice. Search online using your proposed domain to see what comes up.
Now is the time to see if there are any issues regarding the reputation of domains that bear a similarity to your selection. So research the following areas: blogs, review sites, forums, press releases, even your competitors' websites, and those problematic social media sites. Why emphasize searching social media? Quite simply, to see whether you can even use your new domain name as a brand name, because someone has already tapped it. Another way to see if there are any problems associated with the domain name is by researching it at nom.com. There you can verify domain availability, or if it is already trademarked. At the same time, you can even check if the business brand name is already being used by someone else, while simultaneously searching over 500 of the most popular social media platforms for its prior usage.
Another question often ignored is, what is a domain extension, and why is it important? A domain extension is what comes after the dot in the domain name. Using the wrong domain extension can hurt or make it difficult for the visitor to take you seriously. If you make the wrong choice, your site could be viewed as spam or disregarded as being irrelevant to a local or targeted audience.
What does that mean, and why is it so critical? And how is the best way to avoid this? Using the .com extension is still recognized by most as the preferred designation for a commercial website. It may not sound so critical, but it is. Impulsively, most people that have been any exposure to the internet automatically finish the web address by adding .com. It is just pure reflexive. It's possible to get just about any domain name registered that you want. That's because of the vast number of domain extensions that there are. However, we suggest avoiding extensions like .website, .tech, .shop, .io, .store, or even .biz. If you mean for your site to be acknowledged as a truly viable commercial enterprise, it's suggested that you avoid using them.
Extensions like .org or .info are acceptable in that they give the impression to the visitor that the site is about informing or educating its visitors. These extensions give the indication that the site offers expertise or know-how in the subject matter. If that is your intention, this may be the way to go.
But the use of the .com extension gives the visitor a sense of permanence, or having been around a while. This episode is a brief one, but one to take a little time in considering. To get the entire printed series, click the download link in the description below for our free ebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. We appreciate your support. And please leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and look for the next episode, which is on the subject of how to choose your web hosting company. See you then. Stay with us to see some of the other episodes in this series. The one on the left is the prior episode, which covers some of the basics you needed to know about domain names. And the other one deals with how to select the best web hosting provider for your website, from the huge number available. See you there.